Welcome to the Corner Cafe.
About the things
I worship you,
Live to love, love to live.
And he's always providing for me, and he's
My God, my God.
you make me happy.
This is forever.
Welcome to the Corner Cafe. We're excited to have a new friend with us tonight. And of course, we're super blessed that you guys are all here too. Thanks for coming.
Over coffee, we'll chase the day away at the Corner Cafe.
Welcome to Corner Cafe. This is where we share the story and heart of an artist. I am Rachel Maines.
And I am Jamie Daniel.
Woohoo! Gonna be a great night, great
It's
show.
gonna be great. A great night, great tea.
Yes, I'm gonna have to get some tea in the break.
You're gonna have to get this. This is really, I think you'll like this.
I need a little pick-me-up.
You
That is
know,
for sure.
and it has caffeine in it. Is
Yeah.
that okay? And so what I do, I put honey in mine. I don't put
Oh, yeah,
anything
me
else in there
too.
but honey. But
Yeah.
there is honey in there.
Oh, there is
as well.
honey in there.
Yeah.
Well, Great.
I'm going to have to help you find it
Perfect.
because it's maybe way up there. I'm not much taller than you, so
I'll need a stool. Jamie can host me.
I'll lift you up.
Boost me
I'll
up.
hoist you. Hoist
Hoist
you.
me. That's funny. Hey, we always talk about God's creation off the top.
Yes.
And I was kind of thinking, well, what should we talk about? And Nicole had a great idea for our talk.
She did have a great idea.
I love this idea. Do fruits and vegetables prove there is a God? Well, of course, I would say yes.
Absolutely, I would agree.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And then let's just take us back to Genesis 1:29. God said, "See, I give you every seed-bearing plant that is upon the earth, and every tree that has seed-bearing fruit. They shall be yours for food." And not only that, so just think about that, just the variety, right? And the
Oh, yeah.
colors,
and
and the taste of all
Yeah.
the fruits and veggies and seeds and plants out there. And then the medicinal plants that we have.
Uh-huh.
Just amazing, really, for healing and for nutrition, and how each plant, each veggie, each fruit has vitamins in it, and some of them help certain organs in our body. And there's
Yes.
theories out there, according to color, it helps this organ better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of in the not the Western medicine, but different ways of looking at medicine and herbs and stuff. The more
Absolutely.
naturopathic type of thought.
I agree. Now, this is a moot point because I don't have it. I did have a chart that showed what each vegetable fruit does to the body. And
you
now
gotta
what's
find
it
that,
wasn't
Jamie.
in its grand scheme, but it was
Yeah.
there was a few of them in there that showed that. I don't know how I got in touch with that, but or whatever, I was looking online or something, but it was really incredible. And I go,
Yeah,
wow,
we'll have to find something similar to put
Yeah.
on our social media.
yeah, exactly. So, so you're right, Rachel. So God has specifically put every fruit and vegetable, legume or whatever, on this earth to for us to refresh, revive, and renew our bodies. So
Right.
that's really interesting. Even our minds.
Right.
There are foods that can help refresh the
Replenish,
mind,
yeah.
replenish. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And, a lot of times when, I'm a health nut, you're a health nut, talking to people about...
Not as much as you, Rachel.
Well, okay.
You're like 3-4 classes ahead of me.
Well, I had some health things in college that got me kind of on the path of, okay, let's pay attention
Oh, so
to
that's
what
where
I'm
that started.
eating. Yeah. Because I didn't know growing up, most people
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, most people don't. Yeah.
But get on the path towards eating better. There was one aha moment where I started to eat better and getting all my nutrition, and I thought, wow, I didn't know you can actually feel so good.
Yes, that's true.
Feel so good, changing your diet. And, with a car, we all know most cars, gasoline, right? You need to put gasoline into a car. Clean gasoline, too, not dirty gasoline.
Right,
For it to run well.
Yeah.
Likewise, our bodies are a machine that was made by a creator
Right.
who created what we should take in to
Yep.
help our bodies function.
That's true.
So... just love that topic, and that was a great topic that Nicole picked for us.
It was. And once we get the information in regards to what fruit and the vegetable does what, it's going to be more intriguing. And like
Yes,
Rachel
I'll put
said,
it on
we'll
our
put it on our
social
website,
media,
and our website, cornercaferadio.com. It's going to be great. That'll be good.
Yes. So I just love how there's all this evidence and everything out there
know.
of a creator.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no excuse, really, like the scripture says,
Right.
when we look at creation to deny a God. So
Well, think about all the beverages that are out there. All of them have to be made with water. And if you leave out the sugar, the preservatives, and everything, you just have water, which is the best replenisher.
for you, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
don't think God intended for us to eat this much sugar. That's for sure.
I don't think so. I agree, Rachel. And you know, that's funny because I'm trying to cut back on my sugar.
Yeah.
I've really been focusing on that.
Yeah.
As I have jelly beans and no, just kidding.
right in front of him.
No.
All these sugar snacks.
This tea is good though. I just
Yeah.
have to give it the tea.
Yay. All right. Well, we're going to go to our song Spotlight. Stay tuned.
You said it's a slow ride, everything is gonna be alright. All I gotta do is just hold tight, everything is gonna be fine. Oh, when I don't see the daylight anymore. Louder than the cold. You said it's a slow ride, everything is gonna be alright. All I gotta do is just hold tight, everything is gonna be fine. If I can keep on, soon the night's gonna be long, long. The sun gonna shine on a new dawn, everything is gonna be fine. All this precious time. Trying to control the life that isn't mine. I gotta know it's a slow ride, everything is gonna be alright. All I gotta do is just hold tight, everything is gonna be fine. Keep on, soon the night's gonna be long, long. The sun gonna shine on a new dawn. Everything is gonna be fine. We gotta keep on going. We gotta take it slow. Just gotta keep on moving. You're right here, you won't let go. We gotta keep on going. We gotta take it slow. Just gotta keep on moving. You're right here, you won't let go. Help me to know it's a slow ride. Everything is gonna be alright. All I gotta do is just hold tight. Everything is gonna be fine. If I can keep on, soon the night is gonna be long, long. The sun gonna shine on a new dawn. Everything is gonna be fine.
And that was our song Spotlight on Corner Cafe. Hey, we are going to get introduced to a new
Yes.
artist tonight. Her name's Rose. I love that
Ooh,
name,
Rose.
Rose. So can't wait to hear her heart and her story.
Definitely.
Stay tuned.
KLDC 1220 is a God and country station.
Where the elite meet to fight about meat. I am Michael Olson with your Bible question of the day.
You have an idea that could make the world a better place and yourself a lot of money. Fair warning, the U.S. is a first-to-file jurisdiction. The first to file a patent on your invention owns it and all its commercial returns. So be the first to file with Central Coast Patent Agency, a locally owned business with 45 years of experience.
From DataRam Chief Technologist Jason Calkins, Central Coast Patent Agency has worked with me on over 15 patents. The portfolio has generated multi-million-dollar returns for my company. I highly recommend them.
Contact Central Coast Patent Agency and meet the pros.
Hello, I'm Don Boys. Our Central Coast Patent Agency has won over 1,000 patents for people just like you, and we take great pride in our ability to reduce the cost and time it takes to win your patent.
Be first to file with CentralCoastPatent.com. CentralCoastPatent.com. Own it. CentralCoastPatent.com.
Colorado's Democrat governor recently proclaimed a statewide Meat Out Day, claiming eating meat causes diseases. In response, Nebraska's Republican governor declared Saturday to be his state's Meat on the Menu Day, instead of Colorado's proclamation. That is a direct attack on our way of life here in Nebraska. Romans 14:3. Let not the one who eats despise the one who abstains, and let not the one who abstains pass judgment on the one who eats. Question: in which would you rather eat? Meat Out Colorado or Meat on the Menu Nebraska? Join us. Answer today's question and learn how yesterday's question was answered. Log on to 1220kldc.com.
To use a trite saying, church is the house of the Lord. His house is open to everyone. How do you treat visitors to your Lord's house?
Things that make you go, Your Crawford Broadcasting Company, God and Country Station.
Welcome back to Corner Cafe. This is where we share the story and heart of an artist, and we have Rose Awuku joining us on the phone. We're going to take a listen to her new song. Here's Breakthrough.
The enemy's shaking, prison walls fall. I can feel it when you move. There's a miracle in this room. Chains breaking, chains fall. The enemy's shaking, prison walls fall. I can feel it when you move. There's a miracle in this room. The enemy's time is up. There is no fear. This is our year. He has no place here. We're gonna have breakthrough. It's time for breakthrough. We're gonna have breakthrough. It's time for breakthrough. Lame walking, deaf here, everything changed. It's time for breakthrough. Gonna have breakthrough. It's time for breakthrough. Gonna have breakthrough. It's time for breakthrough.
And that was Breakthrough on Corner Cafe, and we have Rose Awuku joining us by phone. Hey, Rose.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, good
We
to
are
have
good.
you on
We
the
are good.
Corner Cafe. You know, I can pronounce Rose pretty well, and then you're like, nope, Awuku is my last name too, and that's like, wow, I've never heard that last name before. What's the story behind your last name? You are married.
Yes, I'm married, and actually my husband and family are from Ghana, so it's actually an
Ghana,
African
yep.
last name.
Okay.
So
African last
there
name.
it's super
Mhm.
popular. You know, it's more normal there, but here in the States, it's definitely different, so nobody ever pronounces it right. But
Aw, I love the uniqueness of that, though. That's awesome. Awuku.
So what
Love
was
it.
your maiden
Yeah,
name?
you
If
got
you
it.
don't, what was your maiden name?
well, that's kind of funny. My maiden name was Smith, so I went from
That's a
So you
big
went totally
difference.
different.
yeah. So
That's
it's definitely
great.
different, but I like the unique last name. I like having a different one now.
Yeah, that's fun.
I know,
So-
right? That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you just came out with this new song, Breakthrough. We just listened, and I know you have a very
Mhm.
powerful story regarding this song. Would you mind sharing with our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So Breakthrough is actually a song that my husband fully wrote. And he wrote it during a season of our lives. We're actually currently expecting our first child, but
Oh,
wow.
congrats.
Congratulations.
Woohoo.
4-year season. Yeah, thank you. We went through about a 4-year season of infertility, so that's where the song comes from.
Oh, wow.
And it was really written, you know, in a tough season. So it sounds
Right.
like, you know, such a celebratory song, but really it was just kind of praising God before we saw that breakthrough, and then ended up seeing it. So it's really special to us.
Yeah.
Amen.
I love that. Yeah, praising him before you saw the breakthrough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah, for sure. It was, you know, it was such a tough season, but I really feel like I learned more about worship in that season, you know, than I ever had before. So this song just kind of reminds me of that. When he first showed it to me, it really just spoke even to me, you know, because I didn't write it. So I love
Right.
listening to it because it's his song, and really it was something that really came from his heart. So
Yeah, so that's great
Mm-hmm.
too, to be in a relationship and to be married to someone who's also musically inclined and can write music as well.
absolutely, yeah, we really share in that. Actually, we both serve in ministry together. We're both worship pastors together at the same church.
Aw.
And so it's really incredible to be able to write with him and be able to work alongside him. It's just been a total dream come true. So
that is awesome. Now, that you've written this beautiful song, of course, has there been, does he write all your songs, or a lot of the songs, 50%, 60%, or you just kind of collaborate ideas together? How does that work?
yeah, we collaborate together a lot, but recently he's been doing a lot more of the writing. We actually have a new EP coming out this Friday, and you know, as we're recording this, and so he actually wrote that whole EP. So it kind
Oh,
of
wow,
Wow.
very
happens.
nice.
You know, sometimes I write more, sometimes he writes more. So it just depends. But I like when he writes because I'm kind of harder on myself. So.
Well, what a blessing that God would put you guys together, and that your styles would just kind of just mesh together,
Right.
and that the giftings would just pour out in your home.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge blessing.
Wow.
And how did you guys meet? Did you guys meet in church?
Well, actually, yeah, kind of. So he is from England. He was born and raised in England, and he moved to Indiana, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
And he actually moved there, not for anything musical. He moved there for a soccer scholarship that he had in college.
Oh, wow, that's
He's a
different.
soccer player, and so yeah. So he moved there on a soccer scholarship, and we actually met through mutual friends. But he had just kind of started getting in church, and I was leading worship, and so we just kind of, you know, really connected through that. He started running sound and just really diving deep into serving in ministry. And so that's really what we first bonded over, I think, was ministry stuff. So
That's great. So when you guys met, I'm sure his story may be a little different, but for you, did you feel like, okay, I think this is the one?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so crazy because, they say, like, when you meet somebody that you're going to spend your life with, you just know, and that sounds so, silly until you actually experience that. But
Right.
I really did. I just literally knew. I was really young also. I mean, I was only 16 when we met, and we started dating when I was 17. So
Oh, wow.
I was a kid. I didn't know it at the time, but I was just a kid. But it really was it just clicked. It's like God just brought him in my life at that exact time, and I just knew right away.
So did you know that, like, did you ever have a desire to be like, I want a family, this direction I want to go? Or you were probably just, not at 16, of course, probably when you got a little older, were you thinking, I want a family, I want to, be married, I want all these things? Or were you just thinking, you know what, I just want to do ministry and all of this just happened to come along with it?
No, yeah, honestly, a family and raising children and being a wife, that was always first in my mind. I always say, like, really, I want my ministry to start in my home. And so I hope to, that raising my kids and being the best wife I can be, I hope that's my first ministry. So that's really what I was trying to focus on. And it's really, worked out for us because we've been able to keep that marriage, first, but also to have this ministry in church. And we're part of a great church that really promotes family being your first ministry. So I think that it's such an important thing.
Amen. I agree.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And expecting your first and that breakthrough that you experience, I'm sure you guys are just, really thankful for this new year, 2021.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to what the Lord has for you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, just so many blessings, and God has just been overflowing on us. So we're just so, so blessed.
And any names yet? I mean, it might be too soon, but do you have any ideas of names?
Well, we do have some ideas. We haven't nailed anything down yet. We're having a baby boy, so I happen to just have way more boy names than girl names, so we're just kind of narrowing it down. I always wanted to be a boy mom, so this is a total dream come true. I mean, we would have been happy no matter what, but I'm just very, very excited. So.
Oh, my gosh. He must be thrilled his first to be a boy.
Yes.
Most men are.
Absolutely.
We are.
That was his goal, so it worked out for him.
That's awesome.
Well, you got a 50% chance, I guess.
Yeah. 50-50 shot.
Oh, that's great.
Now, do you want more, or do you just you want a large family, Rose, or do you?
Yes, after what we went through with infertility, I think originally, we had this whole plan of this is how many kids we want and all of this. At this point, I want as many kids as God will allow me to have, whether that be through, growing them in my own body like I currently am, or adoption and things like that. I mean, we're just really open, and we'd love to do foster care, and we just have so many ideas. We just love kids so much, and I think that season of our lives really even expanded that. So we're just excited for what's to come.
Beautiful.
So, Rose, how did you get involved as being a singer-songwriter? Obviously, you're involved in worship, but when did you know, hey, this is something I want to do. I want to be an artist. I want to put music out there. I want to, do this at a professional level.
Yeah, so, it's a great question. Growing up, I always tried to do all kinds of things, sports and all these things that everybody does, and it just never clicked for me. So music just clicked. Music seemed right. I started playing guitar when I was 6 and started taking voice lessons, and I just fell in love with it. Yeah, it was just something fun to do. And then my parents we started going to a new church when I was younger. I was about 9, and we walked into the church. And my first day there, I just looked at the worship leader, who was a girl, and I said, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. I just really feel like that's what I'm going to do when I grow up. And, of course, kids say things like that, but I really believe that was a moment that God began to pour that vision and that dream into me. And I just never gave it up ever since that. I just said, that's what I'm going to do. I didn't know, even at that time, it could be a job like what I have now. But God opened so many doors, and He keeps just blowing my mind. So yeah, it's really been incredible.
Wow,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. And we're going to listen to another song coming up here. We got Just One Touch. Comments on this tune?
Yes. So this song is actually one I did write a lot of this song. But this song is one that really means a lot to me. It just talks about, that God can really change your life. He can change your world, even in just one moment, just 1 second with God. in his presence. You know, sometimes it's just a walk with him where it's a season, but sometimes it really can be, and it's just one moment with God can just change everything. And so that's what I've seen happen so many times, and it really speaks to my heart, ministered to me. God really just, you know, spoke this through me. So.
Wow.
that's
Yeah, I love
beautiful.
that perspective. And that's
Mhm.
so true. You can spend 100 years not having any touch, you know, and just one touch from the Lord, and
Amen.
it's totally life-changing.
That is so true.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a listen to Just One Touch by Rose Awuku. Here it is.
Walked into the room, healed all of my wounds, like only you can do. You split the sea in two, so I could stand by you. Just one touch from your hand made me whole again. Just one breath from your love, and my new life begun. Just one glimpse of your grace, and I'm forever changed with just one touch. Oh, 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 with just one touch. Oh yeah. You walked into the room, healed all of my wounds, like only you can do. You split the sea in two, so I could stand by you. Just one touch from your hand made me whole again. Just one breath from your love, and my new life begun. Just one glimpse of your grace, and I'm forever changed with just one touch. Oh, oh, just one touch. Standing here with arms wide open, receiving all you have for me. In you, Lord, I put my hope in. You are my everything. Standing here with arms wide open, receiving all you have for me. In you, Lord, I put my hope in. You are my everything. Just one touch from your hand made me whole again. Just one breath from your love, and my new life begun. Just one glimpse of your grace, and I'm forever changed with just one touch. Oh, just one
And that was Just One Touch by Rose Awuku on Corner Cafe. She's joining us by phone. And hey, Rose, we always like to know, where are we talking to you from? Where are you
Yes,
at?
so actually I am currently in Texas. So I'm in a
Texas.
small town in Texas right now.
Yay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where we're doing ministry, so we're loving it here.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, you guys are forerunners with, getting things going and going
Yeah.
back to normal. So, but that must be feeling
Yes,
nice
yeah.
right there.
Yes, yeah, and the weather's getting so beautiful this time of year. It just gets extremely hot, extremely fast. So it's really been nice out, and yeah, we're loving Texas.
Nice.
So now, originally you said that your husband moved to Indiana to go on a soccer scholarship, and you were there. What got you guys to Texas?
So I grew up in Indiana, and he came there, on the scholarship, and then we actually first moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Really? New Mexico?
And that will probably always be my favorite place that we live. I love Santa Fe. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place.
It is a very beautiful state. I've been through there several times.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my family's from there. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Rachel. That's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yes, it's
Well,
beautiful. I love it there. I would definitely recommend it. But then we ended up moving to Texas just from finding this job opportunity through Facebook, which is really crazy, kind of a weird way to get a job. But it worked out, and we're just so happy.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
So, do you foresee then that's going to kind of be your lifestyle? It's just kind of when the Lord says, "Hey, go here," you're going to be moving to another state. I mean, is that kind of the vibe that you're getting?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had a friend ask me today if I planned on staying in Texas, and whenever we move somewhere, we honestly just really don't have a plan. It's like whatever God tells us to do, we're open to it. We'll live anywhere, and so right now we're totally happy here. Great place to raise a family, but if God says, hey, it's time to go to this place, we'll do that as well because he's always been right. So we're just going to keep trusting that.
Very good.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. Very simple, too.
Yep.
Very simple and just childlike. And that's how we all should be.
Yeah.
It sounds like, Rose, for you and your husband, we're not talking to him right now, but I'm certain he's similar, that you guys kind of keep that childlike faith. Also, though, keep the simplicity of the faith. How do you stay grounded in that? Because I think it's a challenge as humans is we can be tempted to make things too complex, right?
Absolutely. It's so true.
How do you kind of ground yourself in the simplicity of the gospel?
Yeah, well, that's such a good question, and there's so many different answers that I can give to that. But I really think that, one of my prayers that I've always prayed is that God would just always remind me of the love that I had for him at first. And I fell in love with God when I was a kid, so that's, I think, where the childlike part comes from, because I fell in love with him. I have kind of a crazy story, crazy testimony of some things in my past with some abuse and different things. And that's when I truly fell in love with God, was when I didn't know anything else. I just needed help. I needed rescued,
Right.
And so I think I just always ask that God bring me back to that moment. And I try to have those moments with him every day, that, it's not just about what I can do in ministry or what I can do for him, but it's about, hey, how can I spend time with the Father?
Right.
And that has to come first in my life to keep me grounded. So it's such a good question.
Yeah, and I love your
Amen.
answer as well.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Thank you.
So now, Rose, with all that's going on, and of course, last year was just crazy. And Rachel and I, we've been asking all of our guests that come on our program these types of questions. What has the pandemic stopped you from doing, or actually may have enhanced more to do through that entire year or more?
Absolutely. Well, I'm really big on, I think social media has such a huge impact if you use it properly. And so I think it's really, for so many people, just amped up this passion of, hey, how can we reach people in a different way? And I think, with our church, every church really was kind of essentially closed down for a little while, and there was this kind of weird season. But at the same time, I feel like it kind of caused the church to develop a new creativity, right, that maybe we've never even seen in the church as far as corporate church goes. And so I think that people were getting more creative. We were reaching, people in a more creative way. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Of course, nobody wants a pandemic, so that part wasn't good. But I really enjoyed that aspect, of kind of learning to be creative maybe in a different way. And that was challenging. But, and, as far as how it's affected me negatively, I mean, same thing. We live far from family, and just to keep it really simple, like not being able to see family can really take a toll on your life.
Oh, yeah.
Even in ministry, it can kind of, cause you to burn out when you just feel like you're not around the people that pour into you the most. So that was definitely challenging.
That is so true.
Absolutely, yeah. But I do like how you explained, just what I heard you say is just you became adaptable. And it seems as if the corporate church in many aspects we're becoming adaptable to the culture, which reminds me of Paul and how he encouraged us to be everything to all people. You go to this place and you adapt to their culture, if you will, for the sake of the gospel, right? So don't let anything hinder us from sharing the gospel. Have you found that to be true?
Absolutely. I actually think that's a great point. I hadn't put that together, but I think that's awesome. Really good point. And yeah, I just really think that, like I said, it's kind of caused the church to not just be the same or go through the motions the same way, that we maybe were. I know I caught myself doing that, well, I'm used to doing Sunday service the same way, so we can just do it the same way every week. But I think really it's caused us to, hey, how can we really reach people in a different way in this new season? And so it was a really special time.
Very nice. So now, with all of that being said and done through all the craziness of the pandemic, and now are you starting to get more bookings or more doors opening for you, or you're looking for that, or are you not just saying, well, you know what, I'm just gonna there's some opportunities that may have come, but we're just gonna just sit back and wait for God on this because that doesn't feel right, or this feels good? What does that look like for your music ministry?
Yeah, right now we're still in a season really of writing and recording and really promoting through social media a lot right now.
Yeah.
But we're not opposed to the other things as well. So, being in a pregnancy and actually getting towards the end of the pregnancy, maybe a little while before I do a whole lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
I still want to be, doing all the social media stuff. I love that because I can do that, at any point. So it really helps. But yeah, definitely open to new opportunity in this new year. I think there's just going to be a lot of new stuff coming out, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah, we don't want you to book a gig, when you're due to have your baby or anything, because that's, probably not the best way to come into the world.
Right.
Although it'd be a cool story. You can tell your son, you know what, we were on stage and, then you came.
Yes.
Yep, exactly. That would be, I could see a whole nother album on that one.
Right.
Yes. Well, as a worship pastor, that is a very good possibility because I'll probably be leading worship up until the day I give birth. So.
Yeah, you could have your water break, right
That's
when you're
true.
leading worship or something.
That's true.
At least a lot of people will be praying for you.
Yeah, I know, right? You've been in a good place.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And then through your challenge with, it's cool that we're on the other side of your breakthrough. We didn't, know you in the challenging time of you guys trying to have a baby and just waiting and praying, and we get to see the celebration part of it. But you kind of highlighted this a little bit. How has this matured you and strengthened you as a couple, having that challenge of not being able to get pregnant for some time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think that's such a good question. I really think that, any challenge can either bring you further apart or it can bring you closer together, right? You kind of make that decision. And so I think for us, it was just something like we were just so desperate to hear from God that it caused us to get closer to God. And when we started to get closer to God, we started to get closer to each other, as we moved closer to God together. So I really feel like it was a time that thankfully we didn't drift apart, but we really did, come closer together. And I love that you mentioned, that you're seeing the other side of this story, because I think so many, and maybe some people listening, we always see the highlight reel, right? You always see like the end story, the breakthrough. You always see the big stuff in a lot of Christians. And so that's why I wanted to share our story, and why my husband and I were so adamant about that, because I want people to see, that there is the other side to it, that everybody struggles, right? Jesus says you're going to go through trials of many times, but, take heart because he's overcome. And so I really think that it's good to see that other side as well and share that and be vulnerable in that, because people, I think, need to see that as well.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Very
yeah,
good. Well
for sure.
said.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back, though. We're going to listen to another tune. So stay tuned.
Your station with the best ministry, variety, and Bible teaching. 95.3 FM.
Caring for people, whether in Africa or in your own backyard. Musician Mike Weaver of Big Daddy Weave has done both. Hi, I'm Steve Douglas, and today on Making Your Life Count, he gives the details.
We went with World Vision to the country of Tanzania. We got to meet the children that we were sponsoring. We got to see in their culture, one of the most beautiful things that we saw were these crops of corn. And the farmers, they opened up and through the translator wanted to tell us all about what had happened. And they shared about how when they received help to learn some really simple things about irrigation, and now there's corn growing in a place like where there never has been, the first thing they wanted to know was, why would people on the other side of the planet do this? Why would complete strangers want to help us? And then when we shared with them, and World Vision folks shared with them hey, it's because God so loves the world. They had zero trouble believing that because they had seen the reality of that love, because, people in America had reached out to folks that they don't even know, but they know that God loves.
And sharing God's love is needed just the same right here in the U.S.
It's as simple as just very small random acts of kindness, going out of your way to be there for somebody. I mean, it's sometimes as simple as just a smile for somebody who's in a really rough season of their life, man, can be the hope that they needed. Just the fact that, hey, somebody else cares.
And Mike says sometimes just taking time to listen is enough.
Sometimes it's just, when you hear them want to tell the story about what's been going on, to sit and to listen and to not have some kind of hidden agenda to try to fix them or whatever, but to just literally love them by accepting them. And it's the heart of God that compels you to spend time with them and on them,
Like Mike, if we take time to invest in people, we can communicate God's great love.
The liberties of our country, the freedom of our civil constitution, are worth defending against all hazards, and it is our duty to defend them against all attacks. Samuel Adams.
Welcome back to Corner Cafe. Hey, we have Rose Awuku on the phone joining us from Texas, and we're going to take a listen to her song, How Can It Be? Here it is.
Jesus, name above all names. spear pierced through the side.
And that was How Can It Be on Corner Cafe, and we have Rose Awuku on the phone. I'm actually love saying your last name now. I think it really rolls off my tongue.
Well, you're doing a great job with it. I'm impressed.
She really is. I'm just gonna go with your maiden name, Rose Smith. That's just easier for me.
Much easier. I agree.
Your husband may not like it, but that's easier for me.
Oh, that's so funny. Hey, Rose, we do this thing called our espresso question, and it's express yourself. And here it is. It's just a fun, random question. So, Rose, what's the most beautiful place you've ever seen? What is the most beautiful place you have ever seen?
Most beautiful place. That's such a hard question because the most beautiful place I've ever lived, I already said, was Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's so beautiful there. But I really think I got to go to England and meet my husband's family, and we went to Paris while we were there. And I know it's super basic, and everybody would give this answer, but I really think I'm a city girl. I like cities, so I think London and Paris, they were absolutely beautiful. So it's probably, my favorite place I've been.
Well, that's fun.
Well, my son
Very
went
fun. I
to
love that.
Italy, and he said Italy is gorgeous. So when if you go there, Rose,
I've
that you're
heard,
probably going to change, because my son loved it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard it's like the best, yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun to travel. I can't wait to have travel come back to our lifestyle here in the
Yes.
world. It's nice to travel.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, I agree.
say tomorrow you can go anywhere. Where would you and your husband pick to go?
There's probably two sides to this because, like I said, we haven't seen some family in a little while. So, of course, we want to go, to London and see that side of the family and everything. And we have a new little niece there that we haven't gotten to meet yet. So
Aw.
that's like the, special side where that's what I would pick. But, I really don't know as far as like a vacation goes. One of my favorite places is Nashville, Tennessee.
Ooh.
And so I've been really craving a trip to Nashville. I love the vibe there. So I think if I just had to pick a little fun trip, I'd want to go there.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice. I thought she was going to go overseas. So she stayed in the
In the States.
intercontinent
Yeah.
here. Okay.
But it makes sense. She's an artist and a singer
Yeah.
and a
Why not
songwriter.
Nashville?
Nashville, that's where you go.
It's a hot spot. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And with your writing, it's great that you co-write together as a couple. But what's your process like, Rose, when you write? Is it usually, you've been pondering this specific subject, or you've been going through this particular emotion in your life? Usually, what's your pattern when you write new songs?
Yeah. So I am kind of what I would consider a super unorganized creative person. So I fall on that end of the spectrum where some people have like all their notebooks and all their things together, and I don't do that. But really for me, it usually just comes from either a moment I've had with God or something I've gone through or a conversation I've had with somebody. Something usually sparks that inspiration, and then I usually just keep it real simple. I get on my phone, make some notes, make a voice recording, whatever it is, and then it kind of just sparks from there. Usually most of my songs are written from like a real simple part of the song, and then I just write around that. But I do usually write lyrics before I write anything else. I'm a big lyric person. That's my favorite part.
Well, the lyrics first and then the melody.
Yes.
Yes, usually I just come up with lyrics. If I have to change them up, I will, but that's usually where I start out.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we all have our different creative process, which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to hear something
Melody.
if I hear like a couple of chords or something, and then I'll string them together, and then
Melody first, then
my lyrics. Yeah, my lyrics tend
That's
to
how I write.
come last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how God created us so unique, even in our creative process.
Yeah.
We're all so unique
true.
in that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting
for
subject.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, Rose, you sounded like you're not a hoarder, are you?
No, I am not.
She said, I don't have anything. I just write everything down.
Pretty organized.
Okay.
My brain is not.
I have to ask your husband. He'll tell us the truth.
Yes, you might have to ask him. He might have a different story. I don't know.
Right.
Well, that's great. And then for our listeners, Rose, anybody going through right now who's listening a really challenging time, wanting their breakthrough, feeling stuck, how would you encourage them?
Well, I really feel like, in a practical sense, I think get around people who are going to encourage you, right? I think getting involved in a good church, getting involved around people. I think in our season of hurt, the enemy wants us to isolate ourselves.
Yeah,
I think we've all
definitely.
experienced that. He wants you to just feel like you can do it on your own, or that nobody cares about what you're going through. I experienced that a lot. And so I think in those seasons, it's good to say, hey, listen, I know that's a lie from the enemy, and I need to get not everybody that I know, but, one or two people that I really trust around me to speak life into me, to speak the word into me, to not speak negatively, but to lift me up.
Right.
And so I think that that's a really good place to start. And obviously just, keep in the word, stay faithful to God, and just trust, even in those seasons, that even when we don't see it in that moment, he is still working, and he has proven himself over and over, and he's not going to fail you. He who started a good work will be faithful to complete it. So that's the verse that I just spoke over my life, over my children, over my husband, is that he's going to be faithful to complete what he started in your life.
Amen. Very good. Very well said.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I like too how you said, pick maybe 2 or 3 people. Sometimes we can get, maybe when we're young in our faith or just young emotionally, no matter what age we're at, we can tell everybody. And that is not good either, because then we get confused. People have different opinions, and then you're too confused to hear the Lord's voice. But it's wise to be prayerful about those key people that can really handle what you're going through. Would you say?
Absolutely, yeah. And, some people mean well, but they just don't say the right things, or they don't give you biblical advice, or whatever it might be.
Right.
So I think it's good to make sure, you've got mature Christians, maybe people who have walked through the things you're going through already, and they're a little more seasoned than that, and that kind of thing.
Amen.
Yeah.
Now, Rose, how could people get in touch with your ministry?
Yeah, so I am all over social media, on Instagram, YouTube. I actually do music on YouTube, and then also have a vlog channel where I just show my daily life and try to encourage as best as I can. So, yeah, to keep up to date with the pregnancy and all the things. I love social media, like I said. So there is pretty much no place that I can't be found on social media.
Great. Well, we encourage our listeners,
Awesome.
definitely. And we have a link, too, on our website, too.
Yes, get that amazing music.
Yeah. So, well, Rose, thank you. Please keep in touch with the Corner Cafe, and any new music, we'll have you back. And we want to hear how your new baby boy is doing in the future. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much. This has been so fun, and I just love what you're doing with this ministry, so appreciate that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you, and we
Certainly
love hearing the heart of artists like yourself. Such an encouragement and so inspiring, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, great conversation, very
Definitely,
inspired,
yeah.
very encouraged, and we're going to go to a break. Be back. Stay tuned.
I love coffee, I love tea, I love the Java Jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup